Picking which website builder you should use for your website isn't always obvious. It's drag and drop this. You should believe that we're good at SEO here, and let's definitely make sure you know we have AI too. In this video, I'm going to cut through some of that and go over 4 different website builders: Ghost, Shopify, Squarespace, and Webflow. All of these are website builders that I'm using now or have used in the past. All of them are pretty wonderful, but they definitely have different use cases. It's really all about using a hammer to hit a nail rather than trying to use a screwdriver to hit a nail. With all that said, let's jump into the website builders. Let's start with Ghost. Ghost is my favorite website builder for those that are creating, specifically if they're creating as a blogger or just publishing written content. So as you can see here on their website, right, it's independent technology for modern publishing. That's a pretty accurate way to put it. So Ghost is really an all-in-one platform for those that are, publishing written content specifically. And you can see like here's maybe some of their little bit of analytics and what it kind of looks like in the back end. But really the writing experience in Ghost is second to none. This is something that I wish that the writing experience had across different website builders, within these different ones that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But Ghost has a little bit, some themes. This is where I think Ghost is a little bit light, is with themes. It's not as easy to use as it could be. So I wish they could have more of a drag and drop builder within it. So you can build maybe these front end pages that you're seeing here. Ghost is a little bit limited. You can buy templates from other people and things like that, but those are usually a few $100s to get ones that are a little more robust. If you want to build your own or have more customizable ability with them, you need to know a little bit of CSS or a little bit of things like to code a little bit. It's not like it's terrible, and a lot of the templates actually have like kind of template code to help you kind of work through some of that, but it's a bit annoying, and it's a little bit of to me, it was too big of a headache, and I couldn't actually do things that I wanted to when I originally was on Ghost. For my first website about, I think, a year ago, I was using Ghost, and because of the lockdown of the templates, and I couldn't customize it to what I wanted it to be, that's why I went away from Ghost into Webflow, which we'll talk about. But Ghost, again, it's a great tool for publishing written content specifically. So you can see here, here's what it looks like on the written piece of it. You can see it's really clean. It feels really good in the editor for sure. So if you like writing within the editor, having a really nice experience, Ghost is definitely great. The other thing which you'll see here, right, is that you can see like the dynamic cards, which is part of their editor, but the newsletters too. So if you want to have an all-in-one newsletter and website builder, Ghost can do that for sure. Is it super, super robust? Like if you're using a ConvertKit, would I prefer, Ghost over ConvertKit? Probably not, because there's not landing pages and there's a lot of things missing comparatively from Ghost to ConvertKit. But if you're just posting like, hey, I'm just gonna send a weekly newsletter and that's it, and there's no like landing pages or any of those kind of things that you want from ConvertKit or Ghost, newsletter just like sending like, hey, here's a weekly publication or even a daily, Ghost can really work for that too. And it can also manage like a paid membership too. So if you're doing maybe paid content, so if you're maybe like, doing your own, like, hey, I'm going to have a freemium model where some of the content is free and there's some premium content, Ghost can actually manage all of that for you as well. So if you're running that type of business, Ghost can be a really wonderful resource for you and a really great website builder within it. It does have some limitations, just be ready for it, but it is super robust. And the writing experience to me is second to none. Let's move on to the second one, which is Shopify. Now, Shopify is not meant for creators. It is meant for e-commerce. And the back end of e-commerce for Shopify is incredible. It is fantastic at helping to manage inventory and really just be a one-stop shop for your entire store or entire business, honestly. Because you can do a little bit of everything within it from the back end side of it. So you can see like here's kind of that shop experience within it. You can build an online storefront, and this is where like Shopify has really become known for, is the online, shopping and e-commerce. And you can see like some of these really big brands are using Shopify for sure. So if you've actually been shopping not on Amazon and these websites themselves, Spanx is one of them. Like they have master customers, and for good reason. They're a really powerful platform for those that are maybe just starting out, and also just those that are scaling. But for those that are starting out, the front end, they do have a new kind of drag and drop builder within Shopify, but it's not super robust. It's okay within it. So actually, if I go to create your website here, you can do it and get started for sure on this. And get a basic, you can kind of see what this looks like. It's just not super great. It's okay. But it's a good starting point, especially if you're just getting started. As you grow, right, it's something you can even then start theming and building out a little bit more. But that's a point where I'd probably hire like a more designer to come in and build your website on the front end. But the back end for Shopify is incredible, second to none. And the nice thing too is that it's again, like I mentioned, it's a one-stop shop. So you can do all your e-commerce sales. You can do, if you're doing B2B sales, you can have all that managed within Shopify as well. And then if you do in person, let's say maybe you're doing like trade shows or things like that, they actually have some in-person elements too, where you can, have people, give you their cards, all that kind of stuff. They have a point of sale system, or POS, as you'll hear. So Shopify is super powerful from the back end. And if you're managing physical products, highly recommend using Shopify. Third one is Squarespace. Now, if you are just starting a new business and you've never used a website builder before, Squarespace is my favorite tool to recommend for that. So it is a super easy to use website builder for sure. So you can get into here getting started. It's a really powerful tool, and it's not elite at anything. It's just really good at a lot of different things. So if you're looking for like a tool that's like the best writing thing, that's not Squarespace. Squarespace has a decent writing platform, but Ghost would definitely be the top one for that. If you're looking for the elite of the elite for e-commerce, right, that would be Shopify for sure. But if you're looking for a tool that's easy to get started with and you can whip it up within just a few hours, Squarespace is really wonderful for that. And especially if maybe you're just getting a landing page out and be like, hey, I just want to get people's emails as I'm getting going. Or if you're just like, hey, like this one's like coaching business, right? That makes a ton of sense. Like I just need a basic website so people can know what I'm doing, the basics of it. And I'm not really using it for SEO or writing or, e-commerce. I'm just really just using it as hey, here's what I do so people can learn more about what I'm doing. Squarespace is fantastic at that specifically. The one thing too I will note is the thing that I think is like the hidden gem within Squarespace is their analytics. I think Squarespace analytics is fantastic. So you can see here like what it looks like on the back end. If you've used Google Analytics 4, that's a mess. I actually switched to Fathom Analytics because of that. But Squarespace Analytics are really clean, and it integrates within the Google suite as well. So Google Search Console, all that kind of stuff integrates within it. So you can see your keywords that are ranking. You can see like here's the visits and everything, the bounce rate, the things that most people care about. All the other extra stuff isn't in here, but majority of people don't need every little analytic. Squarespace does a really beautiful job of presenting you this dashboard. So if you're a beginner, especially, this analytics dashboard is fantastic. I wish they could export this analytics platform because I think it's fantastic. And I think every website builder should be having something like this. But again, Squarespace, it's really good at a lot of different things. I wouldn't say it's elite at anything. So if you're writing, it's a good starting point, but is it like the best tool for SEO? No, but you can still rank and things like that for sure. Let's move on to the final website builder that I want to talk about, and that is Webflow. Now, for full transparency, Webflow is giving me a bonus on the affiliate link that I have in the description of this video, but that doesn't mean that would really change anything that I would say in this video. It's not worth that. So Webflow is the website builder that I do use for my own website and station. This is all built in Webflow. It's really dynamic, it's really robust, and I can change every single pixel that's here on this website. That's a little bit different than Squarespace specifically, because Squarespace, they give you a lot of templates, right? And you're really beholden to those templates for the most part. In Webflow, you have some templates that are available to you in libraries, which I'll show in a second, but they're really adaptable and really flexible, and you can change, again, every single pixel within your Webflow site. It's really robust. Now, because it's so robust, there is more of a learning curve to it, and that's why I don't necessarily recommend it for if Webflow is going to be your first website. I don't necessarily know if I would do that right out of the gate. You could for sure, and I think it's a lot easier with the libraries and components and things like that, but it's not as easy as it would be in Squarespace specifically. And the big reasons that I'm using Webflow is it scales really nicely. Pretty much you can see all these logos. Those are monster companies that are using Webflow for their websites. So Webflow scales really beautifully and it gives you a lot of dynamicness and adaptability. And for what I'm building, I really wanted that adaptability, and a lot of these different tools that I've been, that we've talked about, they don't have necessarily as much adaptability as I was looking for. So originally, like this website and station was built in Ghost, but I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to that I could in Webflow. At least I didn't actually know how to do it. I'm sure you could do it in Ghost, but for my skill sets and resources, I didn't have the ability to do this in Ghost. To have like this template specifically, like this homepage, I wasn't able to build in Ghost myself. I would have to probably get a custom developer and things like that. I didn't have the ability to do that. So in Webflow, though, I was able to do that and have like this 2-button structure and things like that, and having these featured blog posts. That's what I really wanted, just a simple landing page that wasn't looking like everyone else's. Now, it looks a little bit similar to other websites you probably have seen online for sure. And it's really simple, but I wanted to be able to have customizability. And then as my business is growing, right, I wanted my website to go and not have to continue worrying about like, do I need to switch my platform or anything like that? Webflow allows me to really continue building as I go. I talked about like what makes it a little bit easier, and that would be like these libraries and templates. Now, the libraries I think are incredible, and these are integrate within as you're creating, and these are keep building out as more as we go. I actually use some of these for helping me build my station website, and these are like kind of like template parts that you can help build. Now, the Reloom library, that's mostly what I used. You can actually pay for like the full library, and I had a little free code for this to do this. And the Reloom library, that was incredibly helpful, and a lot of the elements that you see on the station website were built from that. So highly recommend, especially if you're building out for the first time in Webflow, use Reloom and look at the templates just even for inspiration to see what they're building out. So you can see like, here's kind of some layouts. That's incredibly helpful. And the nice thing is like they actually just integrate within the tool itself in the editor, and you can just like copy paste, and you don't have to be like changing screens or like, going from template to this website and this. You don't have all these windows going on. You only have one window with these libraries, which is really slick. Webflow is really robust, but I think these libraries are becoming really easy, making life a lot easier. You can see this is still in beta, but they're really incredible. I'm really loving what they're doing with that. Another reason that I really love Webflow is for their CMS system, or content management system, here in Webflow. If you're someone that really loves working in Notion and Airtable and database structures, Webflow's CMS system really works pretty similar. You can see like their CMS collection. So you can think of these as like different kind of bases or databases within Airtable or Notion, and then you can link them together. You can do all of that, and they're really robust. So you can see like for me, like I have a blog post, I have an authors, I have recommendations. Those are all different CMS collections, and then I can interlink them together. So for my blog post, right, I might have like a team member linked, and then I'll have, maybe if I'm recommending a tool, for example, if I'm recommending Webflow, which I would be in this case, right, I can link it right to that blog post, and then things can be like dual linked and all these different things. It's a really cool system that really works really well. But again, it's not necessarily for the beginner. It is meant, so you can see like here's how the CMS is working. It's not meant for the beginner. So if you're like, ooh, this is all really complicated, if you're looking at these screen grabs, you're like, ooh, this is too much, then go with something simpler. If you're like, ooh, I'm ready for the next level of kind of building a website. Now I want to build a really robust website that can scale really nicely for like forever and ever and ever. Webflow can for sure do that, especially if you're looking to build like a bigger, I think like startup specifically. If you're just, maybe you're doing a consultant agency, I might just stick with Squarespace or something like that. But if you're building like a really, big time like venture that you're hoping that, or hopefully it becomes that, building Webflow might be the better option to get going with. There's a lot of bells and whistles to Webflow, especially comparatively to these other tools, but it's not to say that they're bad. These are all really great. Like Squarespace is wonderful, Shopify is wonderful, Ghost is wonderful, and there's elements of all of these that I wish were in Webflow, honestly. I wish like the writing experience from Ghost was in Webflow. I wish the analytics of Squarespace were in Webflow. And the e-commerce piece, I don't use e-commerce too much, but the e-commerce piece of Shopify into Webflow would be really nice. And these two actually integrate too. You can do some integrations, which is pretty sweet. So you can have Webflow be a really powerful tool, and it's not the end all be all for everyone and everything. Again, like I mentioned in the introduction, the big thing is really figuring out what are you trying to hit, what is your goal, what are your goals with this website, and then picking the right tool from that. These are all really wonderful tools. It's just about picking the right one. If you found this video helpful, I would love it if you can give it a like. If you're looking for my personal software recommendations, check out the link in the description for more.